Alright, as you can see in this video, the title, Not Watching TV This Month, has changed my business, and here's how. I have not watched TV in the last month, but I really want to be honest and real with you guys in this video because I heard a lot of entrepreneurs when I first started going through trainings and whatnot saying, I don't watch TV at all, I don't have Netflix, like all of these things, and it always made me feel like I was doing it wrong or really shameful. So I just want to detail my experience of what it was like taking a month of really not watching any TV, how it's impacted my business, and what kind of balance I feel like is right for my life. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So over the past few years, I got really into watching TV, especially in the evenings before bed. It was just something that helped me relax. And to be honest, I was kind of doing it because a lot of the people that I was living with also really liked watching TV. And so it's just a way for me to spend time with them and a way to fit in, even if I didn't necessarily want to watch TV. And it just became a part of my routine. And I want to stop here and say there's nothing wrong with watching TV. There's nothing wrong with people in your household watching TV. I'm just going through my experience. So in trainings I was taking, I had heard people say, like I said, they don't watch TV anymore. But I think this really leads more into like, how is it benefiting you? How is it benefiting your business and whatnot? Because I do think that there are times where it's great to rest and relax and watch some TV, and that's a really good thing. And then there's times where it becomes an addiction of like, I have to watch TV and I'm neglecting all these other things. So I want to make a distinction there. So again, watching TV had been a daily routine for me, and that is what I chose to do in the evenings, kind of regardless of what my day looked like. I would always get my client work done, but a lot of times those little extra things for my business, I would say I didn't have time to do it, but really it was just a matter of priorities. If I had shifted some things around and made that more of a priority instead of TV, I might have had time to do it. And if you've watched my video on meditation, you will hear me say that that is something that I said I didn't have time for, but really I did. As well as, yoga, going for a walk, making videos like this, doing some of my own marketing, that stuff was kind of pushed to the side. So in the future, like I said, I still may watch TV occasionally. Like, it's not something where I'm like, I will never watch TV again in my life, but I just don't want it to be that habit where it's a daily thing that I have to do in order to feel relaxed, or that it takes away from the other things that I think really are moving my life forward. So I'm also working on reducing my social media consumption. That's a little bit more challenging for me as I do work on social media. So I get drawn into that as well. And if I have to pinpoint another thing that I feel like is disrupting my productivity, it would be social media. Every single day I'm on social media, every single day. It is something that I struggle with. So I just want to put that here because for you, maybe this video isn't applicable. You don't watch a lot of TV, or it's not some sort of addiction, but maybe something like social media is. And so just calling myself out there and recognizing all the forms of distraction in our lives that really aren't moving us forward to our goals. And in this, I'm actually going to be making a video in the near future, hopefully within the next few days, around how to consume media and content in a way that does actually propel you forward to hitting your goals. So that'll be really exciting because I don't think it's about neglecting our want or our need to identify with other people on television or social media. I think it's just about, does this fall in line with where I want to be in my life? And if so, maybe that is the right choice for you. And like I said, I don't want to shame anyone who watches TV daily. I just do want to share my experience around how things have changed since I stopped watching it. Maybe this is part of your routine and it feels really good for you, in which case definitely keep going for it. If it feels good in your body and you feel really balanced in your life, then that is great. For me, it just did not feel balanced, and so that's why I'm making this video if someone else is feeling the same way. Okay, so by not watching TV every day, it's left more time for productive habits. So I have more time to meditate. I meditate for not 4,560, 45 to 60 minutes before bed or in the morning. And the before bed thing is really interesting because it's a really great way for me to wind down. I am not on a screen or anything like that, and I'm able to really relax into the evening, where when I was watching TV, I would almost watch that until I was asleep. So those were the last things kind of entering my brain. And if you go into psychology or neuroscience or anything like that, you'll know that right after you wake up and right before you go to bed, your mind is the most subjective. And so the kind of TV I was watching was usually kind of stressful or violent or whatnot. So no wonder I would feel anger or anxiety, where with meditating right before bed, a lot of times I feel more inspired or more loving, or just a lot of more positive feelings. Same with waking up. If I don't go straight to social media, TV was never something I'd watch right when I got up, but social media was something that I would consume, and that's something I'm working on as well. I've been going straight to doing trainings, so that's been really different too, of like waking up and then being inspired to work rather than trying to like compare myself to everyone. But yeah, meditation definitely helps me feel better about myself and my life, where TV, at least the things that I was watching on TV, didn't necessarily leave me feeling inspired after each episode or after each movie. Normally it would be feelings of stress or feelings of, like I said, there would be a lot of violence or whatnot. So definitely has changed my emotions and my outlook and just mental stability overall. I'm also able to sit with myself and gain clarity on my goals and intentions for my life, which I think when we are filling every single moment with doing stuff or being consumed in something, it doesn't give us a lot of chance to actually do that reflection and inner work. So that's been really good for me as well. And it just provides me with so much extra time in the day. Like I said, even if I watched one movie or a couple TV shows, that's about 2 hours a day. And so think about if you replace those 2 hours with something that is moving you forward in your life. So things I replace TV with, like I said, meditation, reading. I just did a video on books I've read. I feel like that has helped my business. Even books that aren't business related, I think are helping my creativity, my emotional skills, my writing, my speech, everything like that. And those are all really crucial to having a business. So that's been another thing I've been doing instead. And again, like doing some trainings for my business or whatnot, watching YouTube videos where I'm learning skills, instead of just plugging into TV. All right, enhance creativity. So let me make sure I didn't put this. Okay, I did put this there. So with the creativity, instead of being bombarded with external stimulation, not watching TV enables me to focus on my own thoughts. So like I said, you could really go inside, and with TV, we're shown a picture, where I feel like with meditation or even reading or just writing, anything like that, you are focused more inward. And so you're able to paint this really cool picture for your life, where if everything's just being shown to you, you don't have that ability as much. So that's been really fun to tap into. And I think that has been where this creative spark has really come to me, in creating almost 50 YouTube videos in the last month and a half. I didn't even know I had this kind of creativity before, was totally blocked off. And I think that part of the reason why is I was always a viewer and never thinking about like, what do I want to say? Like, what are my thoughts? What is my creation? And so this portion of it has been super fun for me. I can really think about what I want to share and talk about on here. And it's just been so fulfilling, so much more, I think, than sitting in front of a TV and seeing other people's art and creativity. Instead, now I get to make my own. And increases focus and really building my business for the long term. So I've been very pleased with that creativity, the focus, the imagination, all of it. All right, now alignment with values. And this is something that has been really big for me that I didn't notice. So TV often portrays violence, revenge, sexual harassment. And I think that all of this can be easily overlooked because we're in this hypnotic state. So if you study brainwaves at all, your brain actually will slow down when you are relaxed. And so you're more susceptible for any information coming in to be programmed into your subconscious mind. And I've never studied brainwaves of people watching TV specifically, but I do think it kind of puts us into a different state. And I think that these things are kind of getting into our brain and they're desensitizing us. So when you think about violence, when you think about all these sort of values, instead of it being something that we're thinking critically of, like if we're reading an article, if we're studying something, even reading, I think when we're reading, we're more so questioning what we're doing versus when we're watching TV, it's kind of just going straight into our brain. And so think about this in terms of commercials. We're more likely to buy something we see on there, or with drug commercials, you're more likely to align with this thing can help you. And so with TV, I think that all these kind of values are kind of going into your head without you realizing it. And so we're desensitized to this in our everyday life. And I found that stepping away from TV, these things really bother me now. It's really hard for me to walk into a room and see TV and see graphic violence, where before it was just kind of part of my everyday, or even sexual harassment. There was a show I was watching earlier in the year. I'm not going to name the show, but basically there were all these kind of sexual slurs or whatnot. And it didn't cross my mind for a while. I was like, oh, this is weird. But then it became very uncomfortable to watch it, to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't think this TV show aligns with my values anymore, but I couldn't imagine watching it now. And just the stuff that we allow and that we don't question. I think it's different if you're watching it and you're more so analyzing it or questioning it or using it as an example or whatnot. But when we're kind of mindlessly watching it, we're letting all of this kind of get into our brain. And I just can't even imagine how unhealthy that is with the kind of things I was watching. And to give you a context of what I was watching a lot of Marvel movies, a lot of TV shows, newer TV shows, kind of things in the top 10 in Netflix, a lot of kind of women who were getting revenge on people. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And so I just find it interesting that where that was once kind of a daily thing for me, now it has become something where it's like, wow, that's not the person I want to be, and those aren't the things I want in my life. So it feels more comfortable not consuming it. All right, so not watching TV allows me to be more selective about the content that I consume. So on social media, making sure that I'm kind of following the creators that their values align with me. Same with YouTube, which YouTube I guess can be considered TV, but I use it more in a learning aspect of learning certain skills. But it allows me to be selective around everything that I consume. And I think that we think about food as, oh, I'm consuming healthy food or unhealthy food or whatnot. But I don't think we think about that in terms of media, because we consume a lot of media every day too. And so really looking at what music do I listen to, what TV do I consume, what social media do I consume, even what books do I consume. And so I've been able to be more selective. Even in reading, I'm finding myself not aligned with some of the books that I would read previously. However, I do think that I'm able to kind of be like, give it a review and do it more in a sense of these are the parts of the books I agree with and why, and these are the parts of the books I don't agree with and why, versus, like I said, just all letting it kind of come in into the subconscious. And now I can make sure that I ensure that what I watch is aligned with my values and promotes relaxation. So I think that my TV choices are going to be very different now than they were in the past, because I want to make sure that if I am consuming TV, that it is in alignment with where I want to go and who I want to be. And so I think that could have been part of the problem, honestly, is not the amount of TV I was watching, but the kind of TV I was watching. I don't think it was necessarily in alignment with my goals of, being the healthiest person I could be, being a leader in my industry, growing my business, having healthy relationships. I don't think it really demonstrated those sorts of things. And so in the future, I'll definitely be more cognizant of what I am actually putting into my brain. All right. So, like I said, engaging in reading. There have been books I've read that are having violence or abuse in them. One of my most recent examples is Game of Thrones. And so I've watched the TV show, I've read the books, and I think it was really interesting reading the books because I'm able to analyze it and say, like, oh, like this is wrong because of this. And I know I've gone into this in this video before, but right now I'm reading a book and I'll probably do like a whole video on it. But in this book, there has been abuse in it, and it's really interesting. I think if I saw it on TV, I kind of would have just sat there and watched it, where now in the book, I'm like, okay, here is exactly what I would have done in this situation, or here is why I think that this is wrong for consumers, or here is a good message in it. So very interesting. It helps me explore my emotions and really analyze these things with a critical mind and decide, do I align with these values or don't I align with these values? Okay, the other thing around not saving TV and selective consumption is you save a lot of money. So it saved me money by reducing the number of platforms I've subscribed to. So before I was paying for Hulu, I paid for HBO. I think I had a Peacock subscription for a while. My roommate had Netflix, Disney, Prime. So there were so many TVs. Or TV streaming things. I'm probably not even listing all of them, but at this point, I don't pay for any anymore. I do still have Hulu through having Spotify, and then I still do have Prime through having Amazon Prime, so I have options there, but by not having to actively budget for it, that gives me more space to invest in things that will further my life. So, trainings, business trainings. I've subscribed to a couple more communities. And so instead of watching TV, I'm actively consuming that content, which has been really cool. And it feels almost like a Netflix where you could just kind of binge watch courses or whatnot. And that's just felt more aligned to me. I also have seen very valuable content on platforms such as YouTube. So like I said, I have watched YouTube over the last month, and on there I've learned more lead generation skills, more AI platforms, more about some books that I want to read, how people are reviewing books, how people are making money online, how people grow a YouTube channel to be monetized. And so it doesn't feel like mindless browsing, and it's actually been so fun to consciously consume like that. And when I need a break, I just want to be able to choose content that benefits me in the long term. Not to say that there isn't any benefit to kind of just watching a fun movie and having that just make you smile. I think that's very beneficial. Or watching something that like really helps you identify with your emotions. But I think before it was more of just overconsumption. Okay, so in conclusion, the reason I wanted to make this video was to kind of show what people had been saying before. And so my conclusion is they're right. So the people who are saying they don't watch TV and they're an entrepreneur, I would say that that may be a bit of an exaggeration, because I don't think that you can live in this time and absolutely watch no TV, but maybe they're doing that because they previously were addicted to TV and that's what's right for them. I don't feel like I'm necessarily addicted to TV, so I do think I can watch some while not going back into that habit that I had. But I do think that the creators who are saying that each decision they're making in their life, kind of analyzing it between like, is this benefiting me and is it not? I've also heard people say like each thing has a net positive or negative. So maybe going for a walk, you get 2 points in the positive, but then watching TV, it goes down one, or something like that. But definitely do agree with, I think that my life has improved not watching TV. I think my creativity has improved. I think my mindset has improved. My mental and emotional health, I think, has also improved. So, lots of benefits. I really don't see any drawbacks to not watching TV, because I've been able to replace it with things that make me even more happy than TV did. And I feel like I've accomplished a lot more, and I just am feeling a lot better about myself. So could you go without TV for a month? What kind of activities in your life do you feel like you're always saying no to, but then you're able to say yes to TV and not have those things in your life? What would it be like if you did put them in? And what habits would you pursue if you prioritize them in your free time? So I'll just leave you with those thoughts. Like I said, this video isn't to discourage you from watching TV or consuming media in any sort of way. Do what feels right and good for you. However, I did want to make this because I feel like there's been such a big turnaround for me not watching TV, and how I've been feeling lately, and how my business is going, and just my outlook on things. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was a topic that was interesting to explore, and do your own experiment with yourself. What feels really good for you, and how can not watching TV benefit you, or how does watching TV actually benefit you? So hope you enjoyed this. If you did, subscribe. I give a lot of videos on building a business, lead generation, and just work-life balance overall. And like this video if you found it interesting or got any value from it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.